Hey, I'm Carlos Garcia, and today we're going over the new Elijah Craig 15. But first, let's do a giveaway. All right, this is for the Blue Note video. So the Blue Note cast series finish from this year versus last year's release. And the winner is my screen name, 34987. Well, my screen name. Send me an email. It's in the description. Congratulations. All right, so this is the bottle we're going over. It is a new release from Elijah Craig, 15 years old. It is 108 proof. And this one is barrel 172, bottled on February 10th, 2026. So I have had a different barrel, like 190 something, forget. The other day, I got my own bottle. I've obviously had a little bit of it already, had it with some friends. Pretty good. It was a favorite at the bottle share, the other bottle I had. And the other night where we had a bunch of different bottles, this is also a bottle that stood out. So I want to compare it versus the expensive Elijah Craig, the 18-year-old. And a lot of people, I don't want to say a lot, but there is, some people that like it, some people don't like it. And it is a single barrel product. And I've had some that I really enjoyed and some I didn't really like so much. And it usually comes down to how much oakiness forward it is. So this is barrel 6,676 and it's 90 proof. This was bottled in 2023. And the prices, we can go through this. The new Elijah Craig 15 is 150 bucks. The 18 is around that 180 to 200. And then because they're both low proof, I wanted to grab a barrel proof that was lower. And luckily the newer ones are lower and lower age. So the A125 here, and this is 118 proof, 10 year, 7 months, and those are usually around $85. I would compare it to this year's A batch, but I still haven't seen it, so there's that. And then I also grabbed this private barrel that's the 94 proof, and this one's 9 years old. So we have a 9 years old, 94 proof, 10-year-old 118, 18 that's 90, and a 15-year-old that's 108. Also, the price on the single barrel I think is the cheapest by far. I think it's around like 50 bucks. I quickly checked the price on that. It's anywhere between $35 to $50, so let's just say 50. A big price difference. There is definitely an age difference, and I try to keep the proof as tight as possible, but obviously anywhere between 90 and 118. So let's get into the nosing. A on the nose. All right, A on the nose. Very quintessential bourbon, like right down the middle. Sweet oak, slight nuttiness, light overall. It wasn't like very in your face or anything like that, but very quintessential bourbon. So let's go to B. All right, B, interesting. So it was smelling pretty good. Red fruit, oak, vanilla, but then I started getting like a cleaning product smell. It wasn't Windex, which I've said numerous times in the past. It wasn't that direction, but definitely gave me a cleaning product smell. Could have narrowed down to the brand. Sorry. But it was also light as well, like A. So let's go to C. All right, C on the nose. More intense than the first two. Oak, there's a slight permanent black marker note, vanilla, slight nuttiness, but overall it's more intense and bolder than A and B. Let's go to D. All right, D on the nose, red fruit, oak, nutty. I wrote medium intensity because it wasn't as intense as C, but it was a little bit more intense than A and B. So it's in between that area, so kind of in the middle. But another quintessential nose, nothing off-putting about it. Like I was picking up on B and C, but similar notes to A, but more nut forward. All right, let's get to the palates. All right, A on the palate, very, very tasty. The finish kind of went away pretty quick, but we'll see how that stacks up on the couple next sips. But red fruit, sweet, candy, red Jolly Rancher. All those notes bring me to red Jolly Rancher. Oak, nice sipper. These are somewhat lower proof, but some of them are definitely lower proof. So definitely I think this is one of the lower proof ones. On the finish, oak, red fruit. Again, not a long finish, but we'll see how it is on the second one. I mean, that's good. That is very good. So I didn't write anything new notes on the palate. I only wrote sweet for the finish. The finish did linger a little bit longer, but man, this is to me a very good sipper. I really like this, and I'm kind of thinking of trying not to guess what they are, but it's just natural, but we'll see. I don't want to say it. I think it just be completely wrong. But third sip. Some cinnamon on the finish this time. Overall, great sipper. And I'm just saying, I think this is the 9-year-old 94 proof one. Because I think it's lower proof, so I think it's between this one or the 18. I don't think it's the 18 because it's not very, very oaky. So that's why I think it's 94 proof store pick one. If you have one of these by your house and they're like between 35 to 50 bucks, and you're getting into whiskey, or you just want a cheaper, good sipper, I mean, this is freaking good, especially for that price point. It is very good. We'll see. That's what my guess is. Let's go to B. All right, B is more intense than A for sure. It drinks hotter than A. So now I'm curious of what could it be. Oak, a slight cleaning product, and this is the one I got the slight cleaning product on the nose, but this is more the wood polish direction. Sweet, spice, again, drinks hotter than A. On the finish, vanilla bomb, oak, red fruits. It didn't linger a long time. Overall, decent. I know like wood polish notes, that's ridiculous. It didn't make it off-putting, if that makes any sense at all. Probably doesn't. I'm just a crazy person. But it was slight enough that it was kind of just like a weird note. I don't know. Maybe I can figure out a little better on the second sip. So interestingly enough, it kind of got better and worse at the same time. On the palate, it kind of got a little astringent on the back of the tongue. And then when I went to the finish, it was kind of still lingering. But then I got some slight coffee, some slight cinnamon notes, some slight nuttiness right now. It's kind of all over the place. I don't think it's, after the first two sips, like very put together. We'll see. Third sip. Yeah, it's a very interesting sip right there. It's good. I'm curious on which one this one is, because I don't even have a guess really. It's unique, it's complex, but there are parts of it that aren't that good. So so let's get to C. All right, so on the first sip, oak, very intense, red fruit, a slight permanent black marker note, similar to the nose. It drinks the hottest out of the first three so far. Vanilla, slight nutty note, and cinnamon. On the finish, oak, vanilla, green apple, sweet, green Jolly Rancher. Which I didn't expect to get because I haven't gotten it yet. Seems like a little off profile for these. It was a nice little change. So let's go second sip. I mean, that second sip was really good. And it's strange. When I do this, I usually take, as small sips. This second sip on C, I kind of accidentally poured too much in my mouth. Not like crazy amount, but more than I usually do. And that, I felt like, changed the whole experience. And that happens sometimes. So sometimes when I do the 3 sips, I'll pour a little bit more in my mouth to kind of see if that changes anything. In this case, accidentally, it tasted so much better than the first sip, mainly because I didn't get the slight permanent black marker note. So we'll see how that kind of works out when I'm A/Bing this. I didn't get any new notes. It was just a better experience overall. So let's try the third sip. So third sip, I went back to taking a small sip again. Did not get the permanent black marker note. It is very good. It's intense. Like, the flavors are intense and it's good. Very quintessential bourbon, which I expect from Elijah Craig. That is one of the quintessential bourbon staples. All right, let's go to D. All right, so D on the palate, vanilla, red fruit, proofy, but not intense with flavor. Because usually for me, the proof kind of helps intensify the flavors, but that's not what was happening here. It was not as intense as C, but was drinking proofier than C. On the finish, vanilla, oak, green apple, a slight nuttiness. It was okay. Let's go second sip. Went a way more cinnamon forward this time. So on the palate, I wrote cinnamon, and on the finish, I was scanning more cinnamon, but like a cinnamon apple pie. Overall, I don't think that D is all that good. It's like middle of the pack, right? But that note is pretty decent, but it's still, I don't know. They're just something like, it's just not intense. It's drinks hot for no reason in my head. Imagine if this is like one of the low proof ones. Can't be. Third sip. You know what it is? I enjoy the finish a lot more than the palate. That's what it is. Because on the palate this time, I got fall leaves, which I don't know if I've ever wrote that before, but earthiness was starting to pop up, and it just, like, in my head, it clicked right away. Fall leaves. I don't know, man. But I love the finish on this. The palate, not so much. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to pause for a couple minutes or longer. Who knows? Drink some water, A/B these, see if I get any notes, and come back with some scores. Be right back. All right, I'm back, and I have a clear winner. It wasn't actually that hard. Let's do the giveaway before I go into the scores or anything. If you want a chance to win 2-ounce samples of all 4 of these, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment with NEWEC15, all one word. New Elijah Craig 15. All right, so let's go into the scoring. In last place, the most expensive bottle up here, the Elijah Craig 18, and that is pretty shocking for me. I know it's from 2023, but I got it recently, and this is one of those barrels that apparently aren't good, because I've had so many of these. I've had pours at bars and stuff like that, and it keeps tricking me that some are so good and some aren't. So this one doesn't seem to be the best. This is barrel 6676 in case you don't want to buy it. The cleaning product note kind of appeared again after some water, and drinking it after itself multiple times. It was just so bad coming off of, D, because after my break in water, I went to here first, and it significantly did worse than the first round. So then in third place is the private barrel, and it's not third place because it's bad. Going back and forth a little bit, the intensity of C and D and that proof point kind of just edged them a little bit past this. But let me tell you, because I was thinking this was early on, right? Between $35 and $50 bottle right here, very, very good. I scored a 3.3. This, to me, value-wise, is probably the best one on the table. But there's more intensity, more flavor on these two over here. So it came down to these two, and it wasn't close. The new 15-year kind of won this pretty hands down. I scored a 3.6. If I didn't get that permanent black marker note on the first sip, I probably would have scored this higher, but it's kind of bringing me down a little bit because I don't want to hype this bottle up too much and then people are like, there's a lot of permanent black marker on it in their single barrels. I will say that when I had the other single barrel, I don't remember getting that note. So it could just be this single barrel, but overall, it's very, very good. For $150, I do recommend, if you're buying bottles at that price point, to add it to your selection. It is very, very good. I'm hoping that it's not crazy allocated. You guys can find it out in your market. This just got to Connecticut recently. So hopefully in your markets, if you haven't seen it, it'll be there soon. And in second place, the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. This is the A125. I scored this a 3.4, and literally this was never really competing for first place. It was more competing for second and third place. And again, more than intense flavor kind of edged out this one, but depending on the price, this is almost double the price of the 94. So what I learned today was these 94 store picks are amazing and you should have one of those. But the Elijah Craig 15 is very good. Expensive, sure, but if you do the whole $10 per year, they're hitting that right on the nose. So if you had the new Elijah Craig 15, definitely tell me your thoughts in the comments. Don't know stupid, and if you do, don't get caught. Bye.